Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'm taking that as a yes. Great. I had some issues with my mic yesterday, so I just wanted to make sure. So as Trinaya shared on the agenda, we wanted to spend a couple minutes just talking about National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And I'm pulling up the couple of documents I have as we speak. So one of the things that is in the agenda is actually a calendar, or it's really 31 days of activities or information that you can use and share both internally and externally with your teams around National Disability Employment Awareness Month. So um, each day has a different activity. So, for example, the first day of October was put up a poster around the month to share information about it. I won't go through all 31 days, but there's some really good information in here. So, a couple examples that I'll just share. Um, there is a day seven is use social media to promote your activities. So, is your organization doing anything to share both either awareness of the month or just ongoing information and support around individuals with disabilities? Is there someone on your team who's responsible for sharing that internally through social media channels and externally to your audience or even prospective employees? Who that may be of interest to. There is Day eight's established employee resource group. Again, if that's something that already exists, does that team are they aware of this the month and some of the activities? You can share this with them. If not, how do you begin to put together that resource to have an internal employee resource group? There are additional web links in here. There is a management breakfast or brown bag lunch. How do you invite employees to ask questions, share their stories, and really lead in this space to help remove either stigma or just concern about of the topic in general. There is a job accommodation network tool that's day 20 that assists with information around there. So lots of information. Again, I won't go through all of it, but each day has its own resource or tool that you can use or share with your teams. And I think Paula mentioned this last month, but the awareness, the NDAM is hopefully a way for your organization to recommit to the work around engaging and identifying individuals who can contribute with a disability. But if that's something where almost like a catalyst to kick it off, it's also a good opportunity for that as well. So please make sure you check that out again. There's a link directly in the agenda that takes you to that page. I am curious if anyone has utilized this tool or done anything thus far. If you've seen this, or if you're already aware, or if there's anything in there, if you've had a chance to look at it that you may be interested in doing with your teams.
Hey, this is Julie from Walgreens, and I think we maybe we did use last year's, but we used something similar. Our communications team did when they were kind of planning the activities for the month and found it super helpful. We're probably not doing the things necessarily on the day, but just having all of those ideas to go off of, they really liked. So like sharing on social media. I think today the post was also we did it in connection with one of the awareness days of someone who's an HR business partner, and she has a video of what it's like to work for us with a disability. So lots of great things coming out, but we definitely use this because it's hard to come up with, a full month of things
Right.
to do and keep it in folks' mind.
And I would say some of these things are require more time and energy or resources than others, but some of these are pretty simple, and it really is just helping folks remember, put a little more attention towards, or open up a conversation about the topic itself. Anyone else doing anything as part of the awareness month for individuals with disabilities at your organization that you wanted to share, or anything you're planning on doing?
We're going to
Um,
include, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Julia.
Oh, I was just going to say we're going to include some information in our newsletter, but we also are finalizing disability resources for like one of our large projects. So I think we could possibly do something in there, but we're kind of finishing some things out for resources for some work that Chennai actually was part of our Youth Champion Communities framework. So
That's fantastic.
we'll be
Thank you.
sharing that out.
Yeah, our Disability Action Network, which is our disability focused ARG, is doing an event at the end of the month. It will include our main campus as well as two of the offsites, so Sunnyvale, California, as well as the New York office. But I don't have all the details around it because thankfully it's one thing I am not doing myself. So
That's good.
yes.
Delegation.
I can add what my organization, the Institute of International Education, what we're doing. A few different things this month. One of which is, we do have a disability affinity group similar to an ERG, and they have put together a blog post on our intranet, and it's highlighting President Biden's proclamation on National Disability Employment Awareness Month and sharing a little bit about their experience, sharing a little bit about their affinity group and how it can be used as a resource to the organization. We are participating in a few different disability-based job fairs this month. Next week, I'll be presenting in this forum or with the coalition. And I'm also meeting with the affinity groups, the disability group being one, but many of our other ones, to talk about what we do from a talent acquisition perspective and share out what we're doing for DEIA related initiatives, and also gather feedback, any additional resources or partnerships that those groups might want to put me in touch with so my team can partner with them. So those are a few things that we're doing just this month.
That's great. Thank you. Anyone else have anything? I will just say again, the intent of this month is to drive interest and awareness, but hopefully you're able to leverage a lot of these tools the other 11 months of the year. So feel free to click on that if you haven't had a chance to click on the link in the chat and pull that stuff forward. Again, there's a lot of job recruiting, accommodation aids, just a lot of good information that you can steal and really recycle or use as kind of reminders throughout the rest of the year for support for this team. The other thing I was just going to mention with regards to this topic is I know for a lot of organizations, you're starting to either think about or get in gear holiday hiring staffing. Coming out of a retail background, I would probably tell you that at least for the teams that I supported, if you didn't already have requisitions up to start bringing talent in and talking to folks, you might be behind the eight ball to have your team ready to go for the holidays. So there are some really good talent attraction and retention tools in here that may also help just with for those of you who ramp up for holiday or any kind of peak periods in your business to assist with staffing and grow that pool, make it a little bit bigger for prospective employees who may have an interest in your company. Just going through the agenda here.
And I could talk, Chris, a little bit about what we're doing within our workforce development program for Nadeem. So as Matt mentioned, Matt will be hosting a webinar next week talking about career opportunities within the Institute of International Education. So thank you, Matt, for participating and your willingness to host that webinar. We look forward to it. So if anyone is available on the 15th at 6 p.m. Eastern time, the link is in the chat for you guys to register. But we definitely look forward to that. We're also working with our communications team to really build out blogs and articles for Nadim. So I know Ayana, you'll be doing one. We're super excited about that. To talk about your programming within Easter Seals, as well as what you guys are doing for Nadim. Chris had the opportunity to talk about, the importance of Nadim, and what he's doing within his career journey and his career search at this time. And we're also going to have some of our YEP participants take part in writing a blog article as well, talking about their experience within the YEP Workforce Development Program. So very exciting things. But interested to hear, Ayana, EQ, or Sonia, what you guys are doing for Nadim or any upcoming projects that you guys have been working on.
Yes, I've just started a sort of a new program. Well, I've started two new programs. One is I was an avid golfer, but before I became a triple amputee, so I have been very much involved with golf for the disabled for the last 10 years. And unfortunately, golf has not been accepted in the Paralympic Games for the last three efforts, starting in Rio, then Tokyo, and then finally Paris. And so I have starting to set out a petition so that people will sign it and give us greater impetus to approach the International Paralympic Committee with just one. This is just one element showing the enthusiastic support for including the disabled in the game of golf in the Paralympic Games, hopefully in Los Angeles in 2028. That's one project that I'm working on. And if you don't mind, I'd love to send you all a copy of the petition, and perhaps you might like to sign it. The second thing, I don't know if you know, but I am focusing with a team on including the disabled in the workforce and taking it from golf, where we have three pillars of inclusion, which is to teach, then to play, and then compete. And that's under the United States Adaptive Golf Alliance, which I started about 10 years ago. And we now have 49,000 disabled playing golf. We have 50 members across the country. And we also hold about 30 adaptive golf championships a year across the country. One's coming up shortly, hopefully after the hurricanes in Florida. And we've been very fortunate to have the United States Golf Association, which is a governing body of golf, to get on board with us and have held, the inaugural Adaptive Golf Championship was held in Pinehurst 2 years ago. And the third one was held out in Kansas City just in July. So we are using those three pillars, which, as I mentioned, to teach, play, and compete. I've added a fourth pillar to the inclusion, which I call employment. and we've started the next level foundation to include people with disabilities in the workforce. And we're working with a couple companies, and we're hoping to be very successful with Wintrust is one of our first, and then Walgreens, which Walgreens has stores, all over the country. And so between those two, we're hoping to start the ball rolling in including the disabled in the workforce. So I was mentioning all that because I would love to have you guys sign the petition to include people with disabilities in the Paralympic Games in Los Angeles. So if you're interested, please send via this organization your emails, and I'll be glad to send you the petition.
Thank you, EQ, for sharing. Also feel free, EQ, to send me over a link or the information for the petition, and I can make sure that our council members receive that as well. But I think that's great. It sounds like you guys are doing great things. For us, our focus is really kind of bridging our youth participants in adaptive sports. And really looking at adaptive sports as part of like life skills, right? Like learning how to play a sport, the dedication behind that. And then also looking how, a sport could turn into a professional career. If that's what a youth participant is looking into going into, if they have a particular interest in a certain sport. So, great things for sure. Maurice,
Juliana, I'll be glad to do that. With pleasure. Thank you.
It sounds so interesting. I would love to support that too. I'm so sorry. This has been a leading up really busy month, and not to mention the storms in between. But for this month, what we've started doing last month to prepare for this month, the big thing that I'm trying to focus on with our workforce development group is closing the skills gap. And so as we were looking at jobs for our transition youth, that teen age where they get jobs or they're leaving high school, we rolled out our health initiative program to individuals for students with disabilities to become CNAs, to take a class to be a CNA. And so it's an adaptive class. And while doing that, we rolled that out. We kind of launched that last school year, but in growing that and looking at jobs for the summer and different things, we noticed that some of the jobs and some of the places that our kids have, they require a CPR license. And so I started looking into getting CPR certified in first aid. And a lot of classes, are done in just bulk, like, hey, I'm doing this class, and they're not really designed for individuals with disabilities. So I give you that background because what I'm about to tell you, like, huh? So what we ended up doing, we developed out a program pretty quickly, an adaptive CPR/first aid program to fulfill some of those skills when they're looking for these jobs and say, oh, you need to be CPR certified. Even just working in a summer camp, right? Like it's a fun job for teens and kids, like working in the summer camp. Well, you should have a CPR first aid certification. So we have somebody, the same young lady who is teaching our CNA class, she agreed to teach the adaptive first aid CPR class. So my first order of business was to try to make everybody comfortable while they're doing this on the mannequins, right? We have mannequins, baby size mannequins, bigger mannequins. So I reached out to an organization with the help of my colleague, and we got 100 yoga mats. And I know you're like, yoga mats? Well, if you have an impairment or if you need to be on the floor in a different way, the small things that they send in those kits for you to kneel down, they're not designed for everybody. They're designed for people who can just hop down. Oh, I just bend down and do this on this little thing that I send. But if you have a yoga mat that gives you and they're nice yoga mats too. They gave us 100 of them for the class so that if you have to completely be on the floor, or if I need to raise it on a table for you in front of you, if you have to lean or do anything, you can have cushion and use those mats. And I say yoga mats, but they're called like they're exercise mats or something, but that's what we all know them as, a yoga mat. They also have an extended, like they can fit over your back, but they can also fit over a chair in the back. So you can carry them. And so that's what we did. That's what we started with, trying to fulfill I know it seems like a small requirement, but it will open up different jobs for different students around the area. And we slowly launched that, but we've delivered the yoga mat so far to 2 different counties that will be having this class. And the one county that in West Palm Beach, where we have our own building, Eastern Seals Florida does, and I have a part in that building. It's funny, Julie, because Walgreens sent us the stuff for a build out in that same building. And I'm like, oh, health, all around just to do that whole initiative. And so I sent the yoga mats down there. We sent some, we have some here for the Orlando area. And we're also sending the yoga mats to Duval, Clay County area for the Pace Center for Girls there while we teach them. And then I messed this college up, but it's the Jacksonville JSU, Jacksonville State University, University. It's one of them. It's been a long day. I've been in meetings all day. But anyway, that is what we're doing to promote more employment, to promote trying to close these skills gaps and lead with skills hiring. So, and I will get that blog over to you today.
Thank you so much, Alana. We'll love to connect, Maurice and I, to talk more about that adaptive CPR training. I think that'll be great, as we come into our 2025 youth camp for our camp counselors and leaders in training. So I'll reach out to you so we can get some time on the books for us to schedule a meeting. But thank you so much. That's so cool. Awesome things. And stay safe in the storm also.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Maurice, anything you wanted to mention? Any updates?
Yeah, just at our 2025 youth camp, just really looking, like you said, Trina, to really incorporate adaptive sports and the parallel in, adding to life skills through adaptive sports. And so really excited to be partnering with some teaching pros in the game of golf to really promote the life skills that the game of golf teaches. And then looking at again to look into like adaptive tennis and things of that to really promote and complement life skills in our youth in the next generation, and really tying in that workforce development component, looking at careers not only in golf but looking at careers in sports for those youth that potentially are not necessarily drawn to sports naturally, but are drawn to the career field in and around the game of golf, in and around the game of tennis, in and around like basketball, in and around the different, components of sports. And so really excited to see that grow and see our young people, 10 to 17 years of age, really start to learn and really get involved in the, career tour and the career options, side of our youth camp. And so accompanying that with the traditional camp style setting, with the camp experience, with that pro-social peer-to-peer environment, really creates a transformative experience for our young people, for our camp counselors, our leaders in training, who take part in camp, and then, for the AC staff as well, who will be at camp. So I'm really excited on the things to come in 2025 and to see our camp initiative grow alongside our workforce development initiative as well.
Maurice, you talking about golf. If you got a pencil and paper, write down USAGA. It's www.usaga.org. And that'll take you to the website. And from the website, you'll be able to see locations around the country that are teaching golf. And so any of your members that would like, and it could be younger than 17 as well, let me tell you, have them contact that organization and they will include them in lessons and other maybe competitions when they get better. But as I say, the three-step pillar is starting to teach, just the basics of how to hold a golf club, something as simple as that. And then you will see how your participants will just grab a hold of it, love it, and then go as far as they can. And maybe in a couple of years, maybe less than that, you'll see them competing. So usaga.org is a website. Take advantage of it.
Definitely. Thank you. Appreciate that, EQ.
Perfect. Sonia, any updates on your end?
Sorry about that. Well, we are in the work from home call center business, and so we're coming up upon open enrollment season for healthcare insurance. And so this is the time of year that we have a lot of job opportunities available. And so we're almost halfway through, but we're looking at about hiring about 300 people for a period of time. So, I've worked with the disabled community, all types of disabilities, for several years now. And my belief is that, and I've seen it over and over, that the abilities that the disabled community has are incredible. And so it is very, very few people that there would be a disability that we cannot work with. Unfortunately, our client does not have the ability for us to install the right kind of tools for the blind, and hearing impaired is an issue, but we're working on that, trying to get that approved also. That's really our update, is that yes, we're still hiring, we're still looking for people, and we welcome, whether it doesn't matter whether they're disabled, whether anything. We're a very diversified organization, and really accept everyone. They just need to be able to type. They need to enjoy talking to people, and that's pretty much the goal. And they have to be able to manage their anxiety, because it is something that is a lot of calls. And so consequently, when you take one call after the other, if it's something that concerns you, those are the kinds of things that we look out for. It's very important to us that we protect the individual and ensure their well-being as the first part of this. We don't want to put people into positions that are going to harm them. And so other than that, we're pretty open and pretty accepting. So thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. I also have the flyer for that job opening, Sonia, still. So I'll continue to keep sending that out to our workforce development participants. I'll also share with our council members as well. If they have any participants that may be a good fit for that position, I'll share the information with them as well. So Ayana, Julia, if you guys have any participants looking for like customer service or remote work, I'll make sure that you guys get that flyer as well.
Thank you.
Any other comments or thoughts? Chris, anything that we missed or we need to touch upon that was on the agenda?
I don't believe so.
Or Chris, do you want to talk about that Seppable project that you're part of? I think it'll be cool to let our team know, employment council members know about the project that we're currently working on with Seppable.
I'm sorry, did you talking to me?
I'm sorry, I was talking to Chris.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, so Seppable is a program, it's software that sits on your computer, and it's intended to help from an assistive technology standpoint for folks who are either unable to or are challenged with the use of keyboard and mouse. So I don't know how many total participants we currently have in the test, but we had individuals get a laptop with the software on it, and other than the software, it's it's just a standard computer, nothing special about it. It's got a good microphone and a good camera, which probably helps for the way that the software works. But essentially, Cephable uses the camera to track head movement and facial gestures, as well as the microphone's got a very good built-in quad array microphone to pick up spoken word. And it is intended to allow folks to engage their computer without ever having to touch the laptop or keyboard once it's set up. So you can provide voice commands, you can provide dictation, you can control, for example, the mouse through moving your head or raising your eyebrows. You can customize it as you see fit to be able to take advantage of whatever's easiest or most effective for you with the computer. You can customize it to have universal controls or have specific controls for certain programs like Outlook or Chrome or PowerPoint. And it also gives you the ability to, for example, use an external device, let's say, for example, a tablet or a phone, to have what they call virtual buttons. So think about, for example, anybody could take advantage of this. In PowerPoint, you can just have a couple of virtual buttons on your phone to advance or go back to previous slides. You're not tethered to your laptop when you're presenting. So they have, again, a lot of customization with it. And I believe the test is going to run for 4 weeks. They're really gathering feedback on how do individuals use it, where does it work best, where are they challenged with it. So, for example, I was trying to use the laptop for um, head movement and facial gestures in an area with a lot of bright light, and unfortunately, it washes out the camera. So, just that feedback for them to either figure out, is there a way they can improve the success rate of using the camera in that environment, or is that something that they need to instruct individuals to know, try to prevent there from being a bright light in the background if you're going to use that part of the software. And then they're also open to any kind of options that don't currently exist, enhancements to their existing program to think about down the road. So one of the things I asked them about was, for me at least, using head gestures was very slow and repetitive to try to move a mouse across the screen to keep moving your head over and over and over again. And the question I asked was, do y'all think that you might be able to down the road use the camera to look at eye movement? If my laptop knew where I was looking on the screen, and then I could do something like blink or raise my eyebrows to right click or left click on something, then at least in my opinion, browser navigation is substantially improved. So again, this comes down to what can the technology do, both hardware and software, but they're looking for that type of feedback from the participants as well to continue to improve the features and usability of the product. So, so very cool. I think they are they work with enterprises to put the software on corporate devices, and then they also provide in training individuals to teach people how to use this and set it up as well. One of the challenges, quite frankly, is until it's set up, you can't do all these things with it. So for someone who is either limited or unable to use a keyboard or mouse, to go through the setup process itself can be a challenge. So again, feedback for them, do they have the ability to do remote access to, for example, have a call with someone and set the computer up with them, or train people how to do that? Just how do we make this easy so even the initial onboarding is as accessible as possible for the audience? So hopefully that helps a little bit, but there's all kinds of incredible tools like this coming out, and it's great to see that this is possible with existing hardware that just requires software. So I don't know what the expenses for an organization, but I even think about an individual using this. They don't have to go out and spend a ton of money on new equipment. They can use, and hopefully in many cases, what they already have with the ability of adding some software to the computer.
Chris, thank you so much. That's fascinating. Forgive me, I missed it. Was there a certain was it a certain company or certain software that you're referencing? And I didn't catch that name.
Cephable, CEPHABLE is the name of the software. I believe that's also the name of the parent company, but you can just look them up, and the software was free to download. I would assume for individual use, I literally just grabbed it off of their website, and you register and stuff, but I didn't require that I was part of this test to access it. So my assumption is anyone has the ability to at least try it out and see if it's effective. On their website, they actually have, if you've ever played, I think it's called 2048, that game where you're moving blocks around and trying to consolidate this little puzzle on the screen. But they have a demo you can try out right on their website without having to do anything other than just, you can use your camera or you can use your voice to control the objects in the game just to get a sense for what it's capable of doing.
Thank you. Yeah, this is helpful. I'm trying to build as much in the way of resources for accommodation requests, and this sounds like a really helpful service, so appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris, for sharing about the Cephable project. As we get more data, as our participants go through the surveys, one of the calls, probably more towards the end of the year, we could go over that data just to look at the feedback. It's a really great software, like Chris mentioned. You could use your existing computer or your existing technology to utilize the software. Our participants that's taken part in the project, they have an AI powered laptop, like Chris said, and the software is on there for them. But I think when we're talking about Nadeem and we're talking about, access to jobs, this is one of those things, right? So, we're more in the technological stage where, post-COVID, where there's a lot of jobs, work at home jobs, and being able to have access to assistive technology, particularly for our participants within the limb loss and limb difference community, is super important. Even only a week or two into the project, a lot of the feedback that we've been getting was like how this was life-changing for folks, who were looking to apply for jobs, interview for jobs, that this wasn't an option for them because they didn't have assistive technology to be able to do that, or being intimidated by assistive technology, right? And having access to that. And that's another thing that we're really looking into as well, is that, there might be some populations or some folks that don't have access to assistive technology. And how do we really bridge that gap so that way these participants have the technology to be able to perform remote work and career and professional development skills? So really great software. We're excited. We have currently 37 participants within our workforce development program taking part in this. So these are participants, that are looking for work, like Chris. We also have our YEP participants that are looking to transition from college, into full-time employment, or they're in internship opportunities right now. There's some folks that have been out of the workforce for 10 years and maybe, a physically labor job, and now they're trying to transition to like an office job or customer service job, and this technology allows them to be able to do that and have the ability to do that. So really, really great participants that we have that takes part in this project. And very excited to share a little bit more, as we close out the project about, who our partners are and participant feedback, and things of that nature. So thank you, Chris, for sharing that. Any last thoughts or comments?
I could ask a favor of you, Matt, and also to Tanya, to send me your emails so I can forward the petition to you directly. Anyone, I know I've gotten your email, Julie. Thank you. And we're working with Walgreens for the inclusion of disabled in the workforce. So I look forward to sending you this petition as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I sent it over in the group, and then I sent it to you directly, EQ, as well.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Happy to support.
Thank you, EQ, for sharing. Definitely look forward to receiving that info, and for us to be able to support in any way possible. It looks like Sonia put her email in the chat as well.
Thank you. And if we're successful, we can all go to Los Angeles and watch these wonderful players play golf. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be so cool. I really enjoyed watching the Paralympics this year, and just seeing like all the talented athletes. I really enjoyed like the track and field and the hand cycling. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, we'd love to support, our YEP participants. They're athletes. There's some that want to take sports professionally. So I think being part of this movement and really just being able to instill that idea that, yeah, this is possible. And if you do want to play sports competitively, yeah, the Paralympics could be something, that you could participate in the future. So yeah, definitely happy to support that.
Well, I've been told by an Englishman that has been going to the games. He said more people attend the Paralympic Games than they do the Olympic Games. So I thought that's kind of an interesting statement.
That is very interesting for sure. Yeah, it was great. Just seeing like athletes all around the world just competing and just thinking about all the time and dedication that they take to for this 1 week or these 2 weeks just to train and is remarkable. It's truly amazing. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, they certainly put a lot of time and effort into it, a lot of personal time and effort. Yeah, to achieve what they do. Just amazing.
Definitely. Well, if there's no more questions or comments, I will give everyone back 15 minutes of their time, especially those who may be preparing for the tropical storm / hurricane. So I hope everyone stays safe during that time. I think this one is mostly, I believe it's going to go through Florida mainly. But if there's anyone else in the Florida area, definitely stay safe. And you'll be in my thoughts. Any questions that come up after this meeting, you know how to reach me. Just send me an email, let me know. But yeah, it was great seeing everyone, and I hope everyone has a good afternoon.
Thank you.
I think Julia
thank
put
you.
something in the chat too. Julia, if you wanted to mention about your annual forum that's coming up in 2025.
Yes. If you guys want to propose a session, our proposals are open now through November 11th. So I just wanted to put it in the chat because I don't know if we're going to meet again before then. Early bird registration's also open, but would love to see some of your work, highlighted in the sessions. And I'm happy to talk more about, the tracks or anything to do with that if you want to reach out via email. But would love to see some proposals.
Thank you, Julia. I'll also share it with our team as well.
Yeah.
To see if we could participate in, hosting a session at your forum.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
we'd love that.
Cool. So we'll definitely pass that along for sure.
Great. Yeah, and just email me too if anybody on your team has questions for me.
Cool. Will do for sure.
Great.
Thank you, everyone. I hope everyone has a good rest of the week. Take care.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye.